Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now, welcoming back to My Digital World segment brought to you by Tempus Network, a Burkhan World project. We are featuring a regular contributor, CEO of Tempus Network and founder, Shahal Khan. Today, he is joined by physicist and dear friend, Nassim Haramein, who spent more than 30 years researching and discovering connection in physics, cosmology, quantum mechanics, as well as anthropology. Currently, he serves as the CEO and executive director of research and development at Torus Tech and applies his physics theories to patented technologies that focus on quantum vacuum energy extraction and gravitational effects. Well, we'll have to ask him about that one. Today, we're chatting about energy efficiency, renewables, and the technologies propelling the future. Now, as we look under the hood of energy efficiency at the juncture of blockchain technology, let's have an overview. Now, the market for energy efficiency is estimated at $360 billion a year and bigger than renewables. Energy efficiency is big business and plays a large and valuable role in the sustainable development of the global economy. It represents the most important plank in efforts to decarbonize the global energy system and achieve the world's climate objectives. With a $250 billion market, the efficiency sector has twice the potential of even renewable energy investments. It's in its inception phase and therefore allows for infinite opportunities. And coming into Web 3.0, when you look at, for instance, the environmental impact of cryptocurrency mining, we see that it has been wildly questioned in recent months, of course, as the sector continues to grow exponentially despite market fluctuations. Now, mining requires high-powered computers capable of solving complex mathematical equations. And according to experts at the University of Cambridge, global Bitcoin mining operations now consume more energy annually than Norway and Ukraine combined. And here to chat some more and break it all down are Shahal and Nassim. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you, Zen.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Great to have you on. All right, Nassim, let's start with you. In 2014, you launched the Resonance Academy, a unified physics online learning platform educating thousands of students from more than 80 countries. And then the Connected Universe, a feature-length documentary film released in 2016, narrated by Sir Patrick Stewart, was produced based on your discoveries and their potential impact on generations to come. Talk to me about your mission and how this is going to be solving real-world issues.
Well, in physics, first of all, understanding the world is critical to developing technology, meaning technology emerged from really high level understanding of the physicality of our existence, the world as we see it and experience it. And from there, these technology instruct us on how to develop technology that eventually allows us to fly in the sky and have planes and rockets and all kinds of things, including how to produce energy. For instance, fundamental theories told us that there was a lot of energy in the nuclei of atoms, and we eventually got nuclear power out of it. But there is an evolution in scientific knowledge that is required at this time. And this evolution in physics is a unification of quantum theory and relativity theory. That is, the theory for the big stuff and the theory for the small stuff has to come together. And as they do, and this is what I work on, and so as they do, as we find how to link these two things, because obviously big things are made out of small things, so there must be a link. There is very straight engineering path that are developing that shows us a way in which we could extract significant amount of energy directly from the quantum field, directly from the structure of space-time at the quantum level. And what I mean by that is that at the quantum level, space is not empty, it's full of energy, and it could become available to us very, very shortly.
Very interesting. So it seems like you have a technology roadmap which will help create an increasing understanding about a rather complex ecosystem. And those are, in fact, real world problems that you are indeed could be solving, with real world issues. So, Shahal, let's aim to merge the two, shall we? By commoditizing energy inadvertently, you can create a new tradable asset class in the commodities market. So I love it. And this is a really nice parallel to Burkhan World's EnerCap project, which I want to hear more of, because when you look at EnerCap and their supercharged storage, this is non-chemical, long life, faster charging, non-degrading, fully recyclable and biodegradable energy storage that we are talking about. Now, we know that energy use by the Bitcoin network in the United States and globally could grow significantly in the next 5 years, adding many gigawatts of demand. So, with concerns increasing about utilities' carbon footprints, there is a growing push within the cryptocurrency industry to reimagine crypto mining systems as potential grid assets that can help balance demand and encourage renewable energy. How can EnerCap revolutionize this?
Yeah, Zen. So, this company that we have invested in is made out of graphene storage. It's basically a storage. I don't want to call it a battery, but it's a storage system. So it could take essentially power from any source. We prefer renewable, for example, but it could take it directly from, let's say, today's fossil fuel based grid systems at when the tariffs are low, and charge up these storage systems and allow the grid to have balanced energy. But I'm more interested in taking a system like Nassim's, for example, in the future that could generate masses of power. But the problem in the world is, the world isn't built out evenly, and there are huge places of non-grid presence in the world. So if you take systems like Nassim's system, and then we power up our batteries, and let's say the batteries go out into places that don't have grids, we could power, for example, a decentralized economy. I mean, we could power Africa, for example, by having certain places in Africa, for example, that produce the energy, charge up our batteries, and we could deliver our batteries autonomously with trucks, for example. And we could create an off-grid system like this around the world, where essentially the energy cost is so low due to the fact that it's being taken out of the quantum field, let's say, to the Nassim system and stored in our batteries, and then our batteries are actually transported around. In terms of the high cost of computing use of this energy, we are looking at a world that's going to become highly computerized, with all the aspects of Web3 and so on, and we can't rely on let's say inefficient places of generation, like sometimes even solar power and wind power are very difficult and still very expensive to generate that, and they're specifically only in certain areas. We're going to need to power, tera, terabytes or masses of gigawatts worth of power in the future, and there's still, other than nuclear, there isn't any efficient way to generate that much power. And a system like this seems possibly can, give us that amount of power efficiently and cost effectively, and that's what we're really excited about.
And that's what it's about, changing the world. And Nassim, with your technology, it's quite interesting because it does relate to some big relevant news, and I'd love your commentary on this. So an interesting parallel is the Oman plant construction, which is scheduled to start in the year 2028 in Al Wusta governorate on the Arabian Sea. And Oman is planning to build one of the largest green hydrogen plants in the world in a move to make the oil producing nation a leader in renewable energy technology. And it's going to be built in stages with the aim to be at full capacity by the year 2038, powered by 25 gigawatts of wind and solar energy. And the consortium of companies behind this $30 billion project includes the state-owned oil and gas company OQ, the Hong Kong-based renewable hydrogen developer Intercontinental Energy, and the Kuwait-based energy investor Enertech. Where are we heading here, and does this pave the way and set precedents in the renewables industry?
Well, there's a few issues, and I think what Shahal is addressing is that both there's a need for decentralizing power. So these projects are really exciting and interesting. However, they fail at decentralizing power, and one of the reasons we must decentralize power is that the grid system is very vulnerable. it's vulnerable to various things. One of them being changes in solar activity. One solar flare directed at the Earth at the right time, at the right moment, can wipe out a whole portion of the grid structure that we have in place on the planet. And that could be disastrous. This would not happen in a decentralized power system where every community or every houses even have their own power system, or where the power systems for cars is inside the car as well, and so on. And so this is really important as well, as we increase, now the need for electrical vehicle is going through the roof. Especially with the price of oil currently, a lot of people are switching to electric cars and so on. This is a huge demand on the grid system that will not be sustainable in a short amount of time. And so there is really a need to develop this new level of technology which extracts power directly from the structure of space, from the structure of the quantum space, wherever it's located. And that amount of power is very vast.
This could revolutionize a whole bunch of industries, because this could be applied to a lot more than just one specific area, especially when you're looking to change the world. Shahal, we have about 1 minute left before we continue on after the commercial break, but I'm going to look at the glass half full here. So in the face of growing climate concern and potential regulations, miners say they've been consuming a cleaner mix of energy and working with utilities and grid operators to provide needed demand flexibility. And the industry also touts its ability to spur the development of renewable energy, consume otherwise curtailed energy, and even help revitalize some of the country's aging hydropower assets. Now, from a public policy perspective, the most relevant question should be energy production rather than energy consumption. And Bitcoin mining in 2021 used about 58% sustainable energy and was sourced from a cleaner energy mix than the bulk of US electricity. In your point of view, how can energy become an actual commodity with asset value rather than an economical expense? What do you say to this?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as people have the capability to purchase the energy from a source or take energy generation and sell it to each other, disintermediating, let's say, the government or utilities, it becomes an asset value. So, for example, let's say, on a private level, we're able to put highly efficient plants that have low, let's say, energy generation costs, and sell it directly through, let's say, a blockchain tokenized system where every ounce of that energy is saved into batteries, like the batteries we have. So let's say Nassim's plant is generating from his technology a gigawatt worth of power, and we're able to save that in batteries and then sell it directly to consumers through a blockchain-based tokenized system where they pay for what they use. We're completely making it into a commodity, right? And we're replacing basically the concept of oil wells and gas stations and the oil economy. So now you have energy as a unit of kilowatt hour becoming a unit of currency without the centralized oil companies or government interference. And I think that's going to be very powerful for a new future.
Very well said. And with that, we are out of time, but I wanted to thank the both of you for coming on. Shahal, thank you so much. Nassim, you are one of those guests that it was hard to keep up with. You have a brilliant mind. Your technology is incredible. And I thank you so much for enlightening us with your intellect.
Thank you. I appreciate very much. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much, Shahal. Of course, it was always a pleasure to have you. Guys, that was our My Digital World segment brought to us by TEMPUS Network, and that was CEO Shahal Khan and his very good friend, Nassim Haramein from Torus Tech. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.